don't freaking care about him. Just focus on me so you can produce some content. Do I look good?
Oh, yeah.
Is the microphone on?
Yep.
Can you see my muscles?
I thought you were
Of
talking
course.
about the microphone in your head. I was like, I don't know, Gary. You tell us, is it on?
Alright. Alrighty. What's up, everybody? Homegrown Hustlers. I'm Garrett, the Trash Man Larson. Dallin, are you with us today?
I am here. I am present, and I'm alive.
Alright, we're keeping Dallin at a distance because, hey, I said don't film him. He's sick. Dallin's sick.
All the girls got me sick.
Yeah, well, Dallin, you know, we've been discussing Larson Waste today.
Uh-huh.
And why don't you tell our listeners why our sponsor, Larson Waste, is different than the competition?
Well, I think more importantly, the reason why Larson Waste is so good is because not only do they care about you genuinely and about taking care of your hassle, but they help you with their other people's hassles. I know, for example, today it was really cool. Larson Waste did a giveaway to a cool customer. And guess what that customer did? They said, I want to give that away to someone else. And so now we're helping them accomplish something they wanted to do. And I think that's pretty cool.
Great. So, I wasn't listening to what you said because I just had an epiphany. The tagline for all our posts,
Uh-huh.
the sonic noise that we've been hearing about that needs to happen, maybe it needs to be my whistle.
That is a very famous, if you guys hear that, it's patented by Garrett the Trash Man Larson. So.
Boom. Sorry, but yes, to what you were saying, Larson Waste, taking care of the hassle, give them a call, follow Garrett the Trash Man to see what's going on with them. You know, we're always talking about what's going on with the company. That's what we do here at this podcast. We just give you some insight into our lives, what we're learning, just sharing our experience. So, thank you, Larson Waste, for supporting this podcast. Wouldn't happen without them. So if you get any value from this podcast, thank Larson Waste by following Garrett the Trash Man. That's simple.
That's really all we had to say. You should have just said it.
I did.
Good job.
Alright, dude. You want me to rant first?
Sure, Garrett the Trash Man Larson. Let's hear your rant for the day.
Alright, dude. So it's going to be a quote that I heard today by a fellow named Mark Marcy. Great guy. Really like him. And this is what he said.
Okay, let's hear it.
He said, oh crap. I'm going to pull it out because I don't want to mess it up.
Dude.
Like, I had it there.
Oh
And like it's a new one, so I haven't really like super committed it. But I got it right here, so don't worry.
Okay, don't worry.
It says, if your emotional state is tied to outside circumstances, you're screwed. So I
Can you say
really,
that one more time?
yeah, I really effed that up. If your emotional state is tied to outside circumstances, then you're screwed.
Okay, what does that mean? Break that down for us.
So, dude, it means what I've been just like telling people about like the past 3 months. Every time we're on a podcast, you're in charge of your experience of life. Like, you're only experiencing your thoughts in that moment. And if your emotional state, how you feel, is dependent on what's going on outside of you, you're in a bad position, because there's always going to be stuff happening that you don't really like, stuff that's going on that like you would have different. You have power to change that, but if your emotional state is tied to that and you don't just decide, it really goes to our podcast when we were talking about passion, like decide that you're passionate and bring that to it, decide that you're happy and bring that to it. It's not tied to outside circumstances. Just like if you're passionate, it isn't tied to what job you're doing. That's something that comes from the inside out. And man, you can just see that play out, because there's always going to be an issue. There's always going to be something to be upset about. And you see those people in your life that no matter what, no matter how good things are going, they always find something. And to just like relate back to this domain, so we were having a conversation and we were discussing, like, you work all so hard, and you come home and it's just crazy at the house. There's, maybe there's a mess, kids are going crazy, wife is doing whatever, and it's like, man, like this is like, doesn't work for me. I need to fix this. But as someone was sharing that story, like it occurred to me, like, holy cow, look at the mind shift you can have about that. Like, you can still fix that, so there's organization around there, and it's happening in a way that aligns with you. But I'm like, man, if you roll up onto a house and you got healthy kids that are playing with so many things that they can make a mess of a house because you're so blessed with so many different things, and you've got a loving wife that's there, like, holy cow, look at all the blessings in that hard thing that you have to figure out. And so, I don't know. I'm kind of going all over the place, but be thankful for all we have, because like seriously, if you are here in America and like you've got it made, we've got it made here, and don't let others dictate how you feel. Your emotional state is something you decide, and I've heard you say that a couple times. Like, wake up in the morning, decide how it's going to be. That doesn't mean that's always easy, but man, if it just depends on what's outside of you, you're screwed. So.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, dude.
So that's my rant.
That's good, dude. Mine's short and sweet and to the point. It's kind of a negative one, but me and Trey, we're trying to do some good in the world today, and I kind of went off a little bit because I'm not lying. We've been trying to get a hold of this lady, and we just kept getting negative feedback the whole time, like almost like I don't know what the right word is, like avoidance, criticism.
Like she was trying to ditch us.
Yeah, like kind of like that's how they're like, oh, you can't talk to her. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do this. And I'm like, holy crap! I'm trying to give her something for free. Like she's gonna want this, but it was super funny, and I think it kind of maybe was related to or had a big impact on the fact that we had a camera with us. But man, it was so funny how anywhere we went with the camera trying to find this certain lady, it was just like, no, you can't come in here. Like, stop. What do you want? No, get out of here. Literally, I was like, oh, like this is something very good. Like, and basically just don't assume. You never know what people are up to. We're trying to surprise her, you know. That's why I wasn't trying to give away anything. And it all worked out in the end. Once we explained it, they're like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. We had no idea. And I'm like, yeah, well, if you weren't assuming.
Thought you were like salesman.
Yeah, or what do you call them? Not paparazzi, but like the news, you know, trying to get bad, you know.
Bad press,
Yeah.
Fake news, you know.
Yeah, but anyways, it was just super funny how once we had a camera and we showed up, they were like, oh, get out of here, what are you doing? And then once we're like, oh yeah, come, please, take as much pictures and film. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's where it's gonna be. It's gonna be put into the marking machine of Larson Ways. Oh, please come.
Please come. Oh wow, I didn't realize I could get this much.
Did you get my business logo? Oh,
yeah,
great.
That's exactly how it went afterwards. I'm like, wow, come on guys, don't be so quick to judge.
Which I've got empathy though, because man, like I never check the voicemail on my office phone because 95% are just salesmen.
It's true.
So it's like I got empathy when you got things to do and you're like, hey, like, and I say yes to almost any meeting. Like, I just think good things come out of it. And
you're like that movie, Yes Man.
Yes, except for Jim Carrey is a freak. The dude's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
It's true.
Anyway, we ready to jump into the
yeah, dude, that was my rant. Yeah, that's all I had to say.
I love it, bro. All right, this will be a quick one, but it was something that was present for me this weekend, and Dallin is an expert at it. So I was like, yo, let's talk about this real quick. And I think we may have even discussed it before.
Yeah, we have.
But it's just such an awesome thing that I think so many people could get so much value out of it. And what we're talking about is cleanliness and organization, and how much that adds to productivity. We just did a post. Check it out, Garrett the Trash Man. Actually, it's just Garrett Larson. I need to stop saying that. Where we cleaned up a truck before it gets back out on the road. And there's such an impact when a driver gets like, hey, this is your truck, and it's clean, it smells good, it's organized. There's such an impact on that driver when he gets into that truck than if it's like, oh, hey, here's your truck, and it's mud everywhere and disorganized and everything's dirty, and like how they are with that truck, how they feel about their job, everything like makes huge difference. And that plays out not just in trucks, but in everything in your life. And so what I experienced this weekend is I've been living in a little bit of chaos because we're remodeling a house, and I've got my 2-year-old. And so like we live in one room, then we have to move out of that room, and it's been kind of a mess. And this weekend I got a lot of it organized. My truck's been a mess because we're running around everywhere doing a bunch of things. I got that all organized, everything tidied up, and it is such a huge difference to have cleanliness and organization. And so, Dallin, you shared with me a few weekends ago, like you went crazy on your house.
I did, yeah.
And so, like, I wanted to hear a little bit of that experience, like, because I think it can play, like, how'd you even get started with it? Because I think that's what keeps a lot of people, they're like, yeah, well, like, everything's just kind of everywhere. How did you get started with tell me what state your house was in, because it wasn't horrible by any means.
No.
But I think most people live in kind of the middle. Like
Yeah.
they're not like nasty hoarders from that TV show, but it's not like everything's super organized and proficient.
Yeah.
So like, where were you at, and how'd you attack it?
So, what it was is, it kind of started, like, it had been, what led up to it was my wife was constantly asking me what we needed from the grocery store.
Uh-huh.
And I felt bad because my human kind of got the best of me, and I was like, why the hell do you ask me all the time what we need? I never go grocery
I don't
shopping.
keep an inventory
I
list
don't,
here,
I'm
girl.
the one that is the least home out of all of us. Like, how am I supposed
Out
to
of me,
know?
you, and the wiener dog. Ask the wiener
Yeah, exactly.
dog.
Ask the wiener. She's the one that eats everything. Sheesh. And so I was like, man, there has to be a better way. Instead of my wife asking this, because every time I'm like, I don't know, and then she gets home from the store, she opens the cupboards, and she's like, or she goes to make dinner. Oh shit, I need this. I'm like, yeah, you think? So I was like, okay. And what was happening was, I'm like, guys, when Garrett says like I'm OCD, like I'm OCD. So our stuff was like kind of like it wasn't like shit was just thrown everywhere. They were
Yeah, but cans
stacked.
were stacked in, but they
Uh-huh.
weren't in order. You couldn't see
Yeah.
exactly what you had without pulling half of it out.
Exactly. So what I did is I opened our pantry and I went to our shelves and I said, okay, these are baking goods. And I went and alphabetically organized all the boxes of the baking
Yeah,
goods.
yeah.
And I got all the canned goods and I stacked them and faced them. I put all the beans and I went in order from like beans into vegetables and I put all the vegetables and stuff. And I made it so everything was visual and organized, and I just kind of went through the shelf, and then I went through the fridge, and I went through that. So now you open a cupboard, and it's like, first off, if you need a baking, you go to this cupboard, and it's on the top shelf, and then from there it's organized, you know, that's baking soda, baking powder labeled, the next thing is salt, or that's brown sugar, like it's all alphabetically stacked by the packages, and then it rows and depths of how much you have. So it's super easy now to open the fridge, you're like, oh wow, we have no cereal, oh I don't have any green beans, I don't have any corn, I don't have any milk.
So what I'm hearing is it saved you time and money.
Dude, it took me probably a whole, I mean, like I said, it's me, my wife, and a wiener dog. We don't have a ton. It took me about an hour. And when I did that, like I also wiped down the shelves, I cleaned all the dust. I was super OCD about it and made it as sure as really about an hour. And it saves my wife about probably 30 minutes every time she goes to the grocery store.
Cool.
So,
Dude, so that's a great home example. And what I'd have you guys know is like we've got a lot at Larson Waste we're working on cleaning up. Like we've got 3 different shops, we've got offices, we've got all these routes, and some of these things are tight and orderly. And we've got other things like our office supplies are a mess. They're a mess, and we're always ordering way too many. And it's like, oh, we've got to order some highlighters, and then we go to a different place, and we realize we had a freaking crate of highlighters and stuff like that. And so we're like being super intentional about. I keep saying like. I apologize. Like, oh, see, I just
there it
went through
is,
that.
yeah.
We are being super intentional. We're not like being super intentional. We are being super intentional about finding those, cleaning that up, so we can, one, save money, save time. It all needs to be organized. Now, on that note, like, damn, every time I say like now, I just feel it, so. I don't know people why I do that, but I'm working on it.
Man.
So, we're cleaning that up. We're doing the best we can. Now, what I want to share is you and I, we're not going to call him out to the floor here without him here to defend himself. But you and I are well aware of a person that's one of the most successful people that we know. And we also know that you get in this dude's vehicle, you go to his house,
You go to his garage. You go
garage,
to. It
office.
looks like Hurricane Katrina and Tornado Tom got together and just had a party.
Yeah. So, yeah. And these guys, like, these
Well,
are
we mean
highly
successful.
effective
Money is
people.
money's not an option.
Highly
They're
effective people.
very, very creative people.
So all I wanted to say to that is like, don't let that be an
Dictate whether
excuse or
you're
dictate,
lazy
yeah, or good.
or cheap. Yeah.
But it will always help, because one thing I would say is I know
You've been in both
be
places.
more efficient if it was
Uh-huh.
more organized. Like
Yeah.
absolutely, like it isn't the key factor to success, but absolutely contributes to it. So
If you're wondering where to start, maybe it's a good starting place for me. That's always been the great starting place. Like, if I want to be successful, what do I do? Well, I need to know what I got, what I have, and I need to be clean and efficient. And that's a great way. Now,
Yeah.
for some people that are just like, I don't give it, like that stresses them out, then maybe that's not the best way to be.
Well, and I think give it a try.
Absolutely. You
So,
have to try it.
I'm going to end with this.
Okay, here we go.
The movie Limitless. One of my favorite things about the whole movie, that's one where he takes a pill, you know,
yeah,
and
I
it
love
opens
that
up his
movie.
brain or whatever. Takes the pill, freaking cleans his house, works out, and then he starts working. And I'm like, oh yeah, this guy knows what's up. And freaking cleans out. Matthew McConaughey, is that who it is?
It's not Matthew McConaughey.
Never seen it.
I think. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Who is the actor in Limitless?
I found 6 for you to choose from.
6 of us to choose from.
Limitless features Bradley Cooper,
Bradley Cooper.
Robert De Niro, Abby Cornish, and others.
Yeah, that's my Australian assistant.
Yeah,
You guys
so
can hear that.
Dallin was not wrong on that one, Trey.
Dang it! I love when Dallin's wrong. All right. Anyway, so yeah, do it. Like, I know this seems like a silly thing, but I just want to share it. We're working on it. I would encourage others because I always have a good experience when
It's
I do it.
not a silly thing because if you think about it, the military, what is the first thing they teach when you go to basic training?
Yeah, we don't want to talk. They ain't efficient people, dude.
But they're clean.
They are.
They make you fold your bed. They kind of stress the organization. You
Great
close
book.
folders.
Make your bed.
There you
Great
go.
book.
That's, I
Read
don't
it
know.
up.
Read that one. That's a really good one, actually. That's one thing. You know, funny fact, real quick. Every morning I get up and I make my half of the bed, so half my bed is always made, and the other half's never makes. My wife won't do it. Like, I'll even go and put the decoration pillows up on my half, and my wife won't. So there it is. Sometimes, you know, you're not a perfect couple or a perfect team, but you do your best. So.
Yeah. Hey, Larson Waste, thanks for sponsoring the podcast. Garrett the Trash Man on Instagram is actually GARETT, 1 R, 2 T's, Larson. That's how you find
Just
it.
Garrett Larson.
So check us out, send us some comments. Party hard.
Here you go.
Peace.
Later.